Hello, welcome to Paradive Podcast episode 8. We are already a week into this, so let's just get straight to it. First topic was internet arguments. So I got into a couple online arguments recently, 2 days ago and one last night, and I just had a couple thoughts on it. So I do think it just creates this negative energy, because I think people can have these different energies. Like, some people pry on your argumentative energy. Like, they want to trigger you. They want to go into these moments of like ad hominem and straw men, like just to get an emotional reaction out of you, not to actually have a real discourse or debate. So people will have these internet arguments and they just don't actually want to argue with you, and then they'll block you. So it's just so silly. Especially like with like internet addiction. Like, if you have like an account and then you start some kind of argument, the next morning after you go to sleep, you'll be thinking about the notifications. Like, oh, did someone reply while I was sleeping? And then first thing you do when you wake up is go back to that argumentative state. So it's like, it's just not zen to argue either on the internet, because it's like you're being attacked from all angles, and people kind of attack you more for like having a analytical mindset, and maybe their reference point is wrong, as in like maybe they're an emotional version. First and foremost, their cognition's very emotional and they won't know how to like react to that, so they react with offense and they attack, they go on the prowl. Because I've just noticed, like, whenever you're like analytical on the internet and you just try and say a true statement, people just get really offended really quickly, and like you were just trying to actually help people. So internet arguments, I think just avoid it. Like, I think certain energies just exist to kind of trigger you, and like sometimes you just need to do stuff that avoids triggers. So like, avoid internet arguments. Like, just don't reply. Like, ignore it. Just focus on your world. Like, if you are not at the top of your game, if you're internet arguing, there's no way you're making money. It's like there's no way you're getting into internet arguments if you're making like 15K a month, like through like online income or something. Like, it just seems silly to me. So yeah, internet arguments, skip. Rhythm of depression. This is like leaning into the level you're at currently. So like, if you're in kind of a depressive wave currently, in like that kind of arc of your life, it's like you should actually listen to sad music and lean into it and feel your feelings, because it's clearly something that's trying to get out, and it wants to be like evoked through kind of what you have to say. I've got some Earl Grey tea here, so try and get a bit caffeinated as I go through this. It's like breathing. It's like in and out, exhale, exhale. You have arcs of your life where you're kind of joyous and not depressed. Let's say manic, maybe. And some periods where you're depressed. And like, each one has a purpose. So like, during the depressive stage, it's like it's time for you to like lay low, reserve energy. It's like a hibernation, like research, do as much reading as possible while you're stuck in your house, while you can't move. Like, if you literally can't get out of bed, like, if you can't even pick up a book, you can at least think. You can sit there and think. You can think things through. You can sit there and think without your phone. Like, at the very least, you can like think of plans and like envision and do visualization. Like, at the very least, if you can't even get out of bed, you can think. And like, that's kind of a beautiful idea. Like, I remember that Stephen Hawking quote, which I love so much. Like, even though I'm in this chair, in my mind I am free. And it's incredible, because it's like, like, if you become articulate, if you read, if you free your mind from all these like biases and learn about like cognitive biases and argument biases, like, you become slowly more free as years pass, and you do more reading, and you keep iterating, and you just keep it up and keep up the good habits, keep sleeping, keep waking up on time. Your brain just kind of fixes itself, and then you feel a bit more free in your own mind, and then you can just sit there in your brain, like, without a phone, without a TV, without distractions, and just, you can chill in your own mind, and you feel pretty good. So you want to get to that point. Maybe even to a point where you don't need tea to caffeinate yourself. So rhythm of depression, like, use it. Like, if you're depressed, use what depression gives you. Like, use that time you're stuck in your house to do research, to start a business, to like watch as many YouTube videos as possible, to go through your YouTube backlog. Like, you probably have loads of watch later saved. Like, go through your backlog. You're not going anywhere. You're depressed. You have no friends. Go through your YouTube backlog. Like, do something you've been avoiding for ages. Like, gather information. Like, information is how you change. So, like, if you're depressed, seek information. Keep seeking. Keep researching until you find some kind of pattern that could guide you out of it. And when you're happy, utilize the happiness. Like, when you're happy, make as much content as possible. Make 1,000 TikToks. Like, when you're in a good mood, make hay while the sun shines. Like, when you are in the mood to be good, reap it so you can sow it later. Like, make a bunch of content, talk to a bunch of people, reach out to a bunch of people while you're in a social, happy mood. Like, utilize it in that moment, because it won't last, because it's a pendulum. It's swinging back and forth. Sad and happy, depressed and joyous, breathing, exhale, inhale. Like, you can't lift a bench press above you without putting it back down to your chest. To do a full rep, you have to lift the bar and then let it back down to your chest. So, yeah. Overcomplicating things in the mind. I think this is, like, super my personal issue. Maybe other people don't have this as much, but definitely neurotic people or overthinkers kind of thinking that reality has more layers to it than other people perceive. Because remember, everything is perception. Like, things are only as deep as people can see themselves. So people can only see reality as deep as they've met themselves. So someone who's never been through depression won't understand like depression style conversations, because they haven't literally been to that level of reality yet. So, like, you might be someone who overcomplicates everything. Like, oh, was that a double entendre? What did they mean by that? What does that mean? Oh, she sent me 5 text messages instead of 4. It's like overthinking everything is kind of what leads to that idea. But, like, maybe you're just overcomplicating things to give life a false sense of meaning. Like, you're just trying to create meaning because there is none. So you're trying to overcomplicate what is simple. Like the way I kind of wrote it is like maybe reality is really simple. Like, people see reality through a storybook because it makes it simple, so they can do real tasks like really like buy real estate and like do business meetings and shake hands with CEOs, because they see life in a more simple way. Like, just do direct action, and direct action occurs. Like, react to reality. Like, react to reality, because some people don't do this. They react to delusion. Like, maybe reality is more basic and surface level than you thought. Like, see things for the obvious thing they are. An insult is an insult. Disrespect is disrespect. Sex is sex. Arguments are unpleasant. Everything is exactly as it is, and your brain has just made it overly complicated to give life a false meaning. Like, you have to start seeing life as like a TV show. Like, every scene's like a minute and a half. There's no time to like have multiple layers of meaning. It's like there's just direct line, direct dialogue, and then event. It's just like beat, event, dialogue. Like, it's not as complicated as you're making it. It's not 17 layers deep. It's like maybe there is no nuance. I love this line in Game of Thrones in the Arya chapters that Syrio says to her, "Look with your eyes, hear with your ears." Like, just look at reality directly with no lens and be like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, she doesn't like me. She texted once, she doesn't like me. Oh, she texted me 6 times, she likes me. Like, oh yeah, she cheated on me. Oh, this happened. Like, look, like it's obvious. It's like, if you even get a hint of something or some kind of intuition, just assume the 100% truth of the initial intuition. Like, don't even overcomplicate it. Just be like, oh yeah, this means that. Like, maybe it is good to start seeing things as binary. Like, you can, if you rely too much on gray areas, it's like you can boggle the mind with like, oh, but then everything's a gray area, everything's nuanced. And yes, technically it is, but like, that doesn't help you function. So you have to start like putting your foot down and being like, this is binary. Like, maybe there needs to be a stage of your life where you start seeing everything as ones and zeros until your life is where you want it to be. Because if you just live in this like fairy tale gray area, you just start being so subjective and like letting life swish you around and you get nothing done. So at some point you have to see life in a binary fashion. Because like I wrote here, like, lift, eat clean, sleep, see things as they are, say what you mean well and true, react to new information appropriately, read, write, provide value, love, reap what you sow, compound, and die. Because kind of life is just that. Like, just react to reality appropriately. React to information appropriately. Compound, provide value, die. Like, if you're not reacting to information appropriately, it means you're being maladaptive. And if you're maladaptive, you're probably going to fail. So, yeah, don't overcomplicate everything. Mornings. I find, especially if you have intrusive thoughts like me, train your brain to instantly do something in the morning. Like, don't necessarily meditate. I mean, if you can, then do it. But, like, if you're like me and almost nothing works, maybe, like, train your brain with some kind of information instantly. Like, as soon as you wake up, like, read for, like, 20 minutes. Instantly grab a book and instantly change the context. Like, instantly. Don't even think about the bed or what you have to do or, like, when you're going to make the bed. Like, instantly context switch and go into, like, your fantasy novel or non-fiction novel or something, or listen to, like, a song with, like, the exact mood you want. Like, because you can create the mood. Like, by creating the mood in the morning, you definitely create the destiny of the evening. That's the way I've started to see it. Like, whatever you do in the morning manifests into the evening. It's so strange, but I found it to be true always. Like, if I listen to a really aggressive song in the morning, my mood is, like, aggressive and crazy by the evening. If I listen to something really, like, calm in the morning, I'm really calm in the evening. It's like a mirror. It's like whatever you, because the way I see it, it's like life. It's like the morning is when you're a child. So, like, all your baby programming is there. So, like, all the things that happened to you as a baby happen in that moment. And then at night, it's like it iterates and it reflects into your final form, the person who took in that early programming. So, yeah, that's basically kind of what I got. Just train your brain in the morning. Like, instantly context switch. Like, instantly context switch to the world you want to live in. Like, if you want your life to be better and you're waking up, like, in the hood or something, as soon as you wake up, like, your brain is in, like, theta. It's in, like, a pummelable state. It's in a malleable state. Instantly, like, assume the mood and thought and ideals that you want to end up in. You know, look at a mood board you prepared. Like, look at images, colors, songs. Read, like, a fantasy novel about this wonderful, like, paradise world. Like, don't necessarily read something dark or evil. Like, read, like, about paradise. Because, yeah, I think that's all you can do in this life sometimes. Yeah, so I think that kind of covers it. Yeah, listen to rap. It helps. Yeah, we covered everything. Internet arguments, avoid. Rhythm of depression, yeah, go with the flow. Overcomplicating things in the mind, yeah. Try to simplify your life so get more done in reality instead of being, like, living in your head all the time. Some people are demons leeching on argumentative energy. Yep, they kind of want to get their claws in you because they kind of seep off your emotional energy. Like, it's true. Not everyone wants the best for you. And so, yeah, also use your block feature more. Like, if someone just annoys you, kind of, like, just block them. Like, we live in this age of, like, internet information abundance. Like, you truly don't need to be like, oh, I need to keep what if someone sends me an important message? Like, no, just block half the people on the internet. Like, block them. As soon as you can, like, intuit that they're not your people, you can almost intuit instantly. You can look at their profile pic, their bio, the way they type, and you can instantly intuit that they're not, like, on your level. So just block them. Get all that negative energy out of your brain. Like, curate your exact digital reality the way you want it to be. Like, curate your reality to the reality you eventually want, because that's just how you do it. So, yeah. And, yeah, just train your morning brain to read straight away, or just assume the reality you want to end up in. Assume the final analysis. And, yeah, I think that's everything. So, thank you very much for watching. A bit longer episode today, about 15 minutes. Yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace.